What is going on, my fellow human beings? Welcome to Wake Up With Me. I am the mad scientist, mad standing for mentality, anxiety, depression. My goal is simply to help bring down the levels of anxiety, the levels of the sad, depressive feelings that unfortunately most human beings tend to be tuned in with. So, the very first episode of this channel, Wake Up With Me, which Wake Up With Me stands for waking up, obviously, level of consciousness. With me, I'm also very early in the stage of waking up, so to speak. I've done a lot of research. However, I'm not even a 0.1% into the way or into the whole rabbit hole, so to speak. I know that reference gets used a lot. So basically, I came across this video called The First Law of the Universe. It was put on by Proctor Gallagher. I will put the link to that video in the description of this one. Simply giving my thanks to Proctor for this video, and he has a lot of great content. Go follow his content if you want to learn at a more rapid pace. If you want to just get a slow introduction, then you can wake up with me essentially, and just go off of. I'm going to be reviewing other people's content and trying to break it down, maybe make things a little simpler if I can, if it seems like it's all over the place, or if there's something. I seem to be able to take hard to understand information and make it understandable for a variety of different levels of intellect. So basically, I'm just going to go through a little bit. His video was about 40 minutes. I'm going to try to give you all the highlights of that video in a quick video so that we don't take up too much of your time. I don't want to hold you here too long. I do just want to give you some valuable information passed along from me by Proctor Gallagher, like I said. So he wrote a book called You Were Born Rich, and you can actually get that off his website absolutely free, proctorgallagher.com. I will put that in the description below also. So he talks about how attraction is a secondary law. A lot of us, you'll hear a lot of people say the law of attraction. And while I started off that way also, I quickly realized I learned about vibrations and frequencies. So then I switched my view to vibrations over the last couple of weeks. So he talks about attraction is a secondary law and vibration is a primary law. So everything vibrates, nothing rests. He says we live in a motion of ocean. So that resonates with me as soon as he says it. Like, if you could just picture of just a clear ocean, there's nothing to stop the beautiful and ebony flow of the waves. That's essentially what we are living in. We're just living in such a beautiful wave of motion that you can't see. You can't see the vibrations or frequencies. They're there. So one thing people don't know that he actually talks about in this video I had already come across. You're not this physical body. You are the light that surrounds your body that you can't even see. Thomas Fleet came up with the photography he takes a picture and it shows just the light that surrounds the body. There's no actual body there. So we have that technology. So you can, that's a proven thing. That's not me just speaking on this. You are the light that is around you, is what I'm understanding from my research. He talks about goals are for growth. And what we do with our goals is most of us write type A goals, which is how to do it. So it'd be like, oh, I have a goal to get this car. But you already know how to get a new car. You know the steps that takes. You know what you would have to do. A lot of you have already gotten a car and you just want to move up to the bigger car from that level or not bigger necessarily, but better or more sportier car from where you're at. So that's a type A goal. You already know how to do it. Then you move into type B goals, which is you think you can do it. So that's something like, oh, okay, I don't know how I could be a millionaire, but I think I could. I think I could be a millionaire, so I'm going to write that down as one of my goals, become a millionaire. I don't know how, but I know tons of other people that do it, so I know it's possible. And what he says is you really want to focus on these type C goals, which is where I actually moved before. I just saw this video today. I just got done watching it, actually. And I didn't realize I was already in Type C goal, which is fun for me. However, this is why I'm making this video. I want your way of thinking to shift. I mean, maybe you're watching this and you're already at a level beyond where I'm at, and to that, namaste. I'm gonna get there. Maybe you're at a level that you are resonating with everything I'm saying, which means I would say go explore. There's tons of information out there, and people have been doing such good service to get this knowledge out there for so many years, and I had no idea all this was there. And now it's time to shed light on these people. Proctor Gallagher being one of them. So Type C goal is what you really want to do, but you don't know how, but you know you will. So I know that kind of touched in the millionaire thing. You don't know how, but you know you will. Like, yeah, that so to speak. But I don't want to go about money. I want you to picture your goal like, wow, what life could I possibly have? Oh, I live by the ocean and I have kids with whoever. Like, start picturing it, and not, it doesn't even have to be relationship wise and family wise, but start picturing things that you've never thought about that truly make you happy. You have no possible idea where to even begin to get to that goal, but one thing he talks about in here is just by having that goal in place and the will to want to get there, you will match the vibration of that goal and start to rise up to that, essentially, without even knowing where or how you're going to get to it. So anyway, I'm sorry, starting to get rambling, but so he touches on, you already have everything that is required to attract whatever you want in your life, all within us. And I've heard this repeatedly while I've started to do research on topics of the universe and discovering what we like, the origin of what we really are. I've never gone down the rabbit holes of really figuring out, why are we here? What are we meant to figure out? And that's just what started me on this. And so everything he already says, I really resonate with. And like I said, if you're resonating with some of the stuff that you hear, this is the time to go down this rabbit hole. While we have all this time, start teaching yourself some new knowledge while we're locked inside. He says you must understand the mind. And I'm going to get into a very easy diagram. I'm going to show you a picture of it. So, I believe it was Thomas Fleet that also came up with this very simple diagram to explain it, so you can really understand it. And as soon as I read that, I was like, wow, or saw this diagram, I was like, wow, the simplicity really is this simple. He says, every single one of us knows we can do better, yet we're not. So what he means by that is, like, you're going to your job every day, hating your life, knowing you can make more money, knowing you can do anything, and yet we get stuck, right? And that's part of, you'll hear Dr. Bruce Lipton talk about it, getting stuck in our subconscious mind, because 95% of our day, our day is controlled by our subconscious mind. So if you never reprogram the subconscious mind, you will live the same day, the same life every day, essentially, because you're vibrating at that level. You have to raise your vibration to get into another life. There's no other way to explain it. You can't be tuned in. Let's look at it like a radio frequency. You can't be tuned into 92.1 and look at 101.1 and get there without changing something. You have to change the station. You have to change the way you are perceiving things. You have to change your vibrational level so that you can begin to change your vibration. Anyway, back to this. So he says, the parts of our mind that know things, and this is where it starts to get simple. We are looking at everything as one, essentially, like your brain. Okay, see, I'm going to make it complicated. Let me just go with what he says. The parts of our mind that know things and the parts of our mind that control things are two different parts. That's the conscious and the subconscious. let's understand that your paradigm, okay, he says your paradigm is what controls your behavior. So the paradigm is what we're focused on here, shifting your paradigm to raise your vibration. So this is when he gets into the Thomas Fleet. Thomas Fleet says, the mind is an activity, not a thing. No one has ever seen the mind. In order to gain clarity, in order to gain clarity and eliminate confusion, I will create an image we can work with. So here's the image. I know it's going to be kind of tough to see. It's just a sphere cut into two, and then he draws a line down, and then a smaller sphere, and that represents the body. So he takes the top sphere, he draws a horizontal line, and separates the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is the thinking mind, the educated mind, and the intellect. The subconscious mind is the emotional, we must accept. And what I mean by that is your subconscious cannot determine the difference between reality and imagination. So when you're imagining something, so that's why when you start to picture about it, or start to think and really resonate with a time that like made you sad, you feel that emotion because your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between imaginary and reality. So it's happening in your subconscious mind, right? That event is happening. You can't fake that. Okay, I guess you know what I mean though. Like your subconscious mind can't differentiate that isn't happening right now. It's like, oh my gosh, that those feelings are related to that event, so you feel the exact same way as if it just happened. Which I think is why so many of us get stuck in depression, is because we're constantly thinking about all the things that hurt us instead of all the things that we can become, because we've been stuck on that low vibration. So yeah, that was basically the way to break it down simple and to differentiate between the thinking and the emotions. And then he says in the conscious mind, we get to choose, accept or reject, and originate. But remember, we're only operating out of our conscious mind 5% of the day, so to speak. So you don't really get that many opportunities to shift the paradigm. And if you, so they talk about how we have 60,000 thoughts in a day. The number, I've heard different numbers, but let's call it 60,000. And if you're operating this next day out of 95% subconscious, then I believe the number they came up with was 90% of those same thoughts out of the 60,000 will be thought of again the next day. So that's how you get stuck, thinking the same thoughts every single day. But the good news is you can literally shift this overnight, and it's not going to, I'm not saying your whole life will change overnight, but once you shift into the different vibration, you start to see things unfold that you never thought possible. That's what they mean by hold that goal and you will come up to that vibration. So Proctor talks about feeling is a word this was beautiful. Feeling is a word that we invented to describe the conscious awareness of the vibration we're in. So when you're feeling that, you are aware that is the vibration. So if all of us stop and think right now, you watching this video right now with me, you're here with me right now, think about your life. Think about the worries you have. Think about, are you genuinely happy every day? Really start to figure out what vibration you're at. Picture the vibration you want to be at, and wake up with me. That was deep. Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Ooh. This is, okay, really tune into me here. Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics. That came from Albert Einstein. Genius. Every frequency is connected to the one above and the one below. This was huge for me. I didn't know this. So picture frequencies as horizontal lines. Every frequency, there's no border between the frequencies. They're all connected. So in order to get to that frequency, this made me understand you can literally get to any frequency, because when you start down here and you start to raise the vibration, you'll get to this one, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one, because they're all connected. And I genuinely feel like you can shoot from one up to, like, up to where you want to be very quickly. Now, that's what I mean by it can happen quickly. Now, your life won't change completely overnight, so to speak. It could. Miracles happen. Miracles are real. But you can match, the faster you get to that frequency, the faster that reality will start to come into your life. So, to finish up here, another quote from Einstein. I love Einstein. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. We have created a society that humors the servant and has forgotten the gift. I have not read something more real than that quote in the last, since I've started this research, really. Like, that nails it on the head. We have created a society that humors the servant and has forgotten the gift. We have become servants on this planet. There's so many people that have to get up and go through a life that they genuinely hate. And I know a lot of people don't like to use the word hate, but hate is a form of love. It's a very low vibration of love. So you can feel, that's why we feel so much hate so easily, since, wow, I just correlated this. Wow. So essentially everything is pure love. That is what we're trying to get to, a vibration of pure light and love. Now that I understand that hate is a very low vibration of love, I understand why we see so much hate, because hate seems like to be the easiest vibration to attach to. We have to shift that as a society collectively. Join me, please. And I don't mean me. I have been letting my ego die, and this has been the best thing for me, understanding that you cannot shift into this new world holding on to old beliefs and the ego. Your ego is oh, follow me, I'm completely right, everybody needs to do what I'm talking about. No, I understand that I am so early on this journey, and you can go watch so many further along people in the understanding of quantum physics and understanding of the world and understanding of spirituality. And there's tons of stuff I do not know, but I am genuinely just connecting with my feelings right now, and this has been the biggest breakthrough for me so far in my journey. Back to this to wrap it up. He says the law of attraction responds to the paradigm, and he talks about the paradigm being in the subconscious mind. So the law of attraction is responding to your subconscious mind. So if we're having those negative thoughts every single day, hating our life, hating our job, hating our circumstances, you will not shift out of that, because like I said, 90% of your thoughts from the previous day are coming in every day. We understand that. That's very simple. So when you start to shift it, the next day, maybe you were conscious 10% of the day, and maybe you get to, right now, the best way I feel like I'm operating still about 20% out of my subconscious. I'll start to do something and be like, oh, that's the old way. And I'll still have to be shifting. But there's a lot of things just over the last week, really, that I really started to tune into the vibration, and now it's just like clockwork, and I started to say super and so exciting at the same time. But man, this is excitement to me. I'm so excited for helping change vibrations. That's the bottom line of it, honestly. He says, I'm going to end with this. This is another beautiful, I believe, I don't have it in quotation, so Proctor must have said this himself. We are only limited by the weakness of attention and the poverty of our imagination. So you remember that old SpongeBob episode? Imagination. I have not even thought about that up until I was watching that and saw the poverty of imagination. That popped into my head. And because I love that episode, and I used to kind of not make fun of it, but I'm like, okay, SpongeBob, yeah, the imagination. But now I'm like, yes, have a beautiful imagination and watch your world change. Whew. Wake up with me. I am your host, the Mad Scientist. My goal is to put out a video daily, 1:11 p.m. Eastern, every single day. Look for a new video every day. Please like and subscribe to this channel. and share this with somebody that you think. So the way that I'm learning the world works, when something pops into my head, I understand that that was a signal from the one source. To me, this is how I believe in it. The one source, the one creator, the one God, consciousness. Since everything's a vibration and we're all connected, if a thought pops into my head to reach out to somebody, that was sent to me from the source via, that most likely means that that person was thinking of me. And if you're resonating with this and you know what I mean, like when somebody pops into your head, that probably means they thought of you. That's why you'll be thinking of somebody and then your phone rings and it's them. That's not a coincidence. There are no coincidences. We are all connected. We are all one. I love you all. Be kind.